ביאור משנה ג', one more. לעיל שנינו, before we learned, שכל המקלקלים פטורים. That whenever you break, you're not allowed to break for fun, right?
כן.
But you're patur. This is not, it's only building. If you break in order to build, that you're obligated. אבל לכתחילה אסור לקלקל בשבת. It says, but don't go around breaking things on Shabbat. משנתנו בא ללמד, our Mishnah comes to teach you, שלצורך אכילה בשבת מותר לקלקל אף לכתחילה. That on Shabbat you're allowed to break things. So you've got a container, you want to eat whatever is inside.
כן, איך אומרים? קופסת שימורים.
Very good.
It's closed.
Very good.
You want to open it.
You want to open it.
I want to eat.
I want to eat. That's right. Are you allowed to break this vessel? Now, let's not use kufsat shimurim, because kufsat shimurim. Because for us, kufsat shimurim is on a vessel.
It could be a vessel.
Yeah, but usually for us it's not a vessel. Yeah, so
the box itself.
Yeah, we don't use it as a vessel. But imagine a barrel. A barrel costs $500, $300. So for you, it's a vessel for sure. Even if you keep whiskey inside, it doesn't matter. You put a new batch of whiskey inside. It's expensive. So
okay, so here you got a barrel of whiskey on Shabbos. You know how they close on the top with all this thing, and you want to eat.
Exactly. That's example.
No,
are you allowed to break it on Shabbat? That's the question.
Take a screwdriver, you want to...
Or maybe take a hammer.
And you want
break
to
it.
drink.
That's right. Are you allowed to... Exactly. You're allowed to break it. So it says, שובר את אדם את החבית. A person is allowed to break the container, the barrel, לאכול ממנה גרוגרות. To eat from it גרוגרות. תאנים, yeah. Figs. חבית שיש אותה... חבית שיש בה גוגרות, a barrel that has dry figs, ואי אפשר לפתחה. They made these barrels in such a manner that the lid you have to break. מותר לשבור אותו בשבת, כדי יוצאים לגוגרות לאכילה. You're allowed to break it on Shabbat in order to take out the figs. Why? מפני שהוא מקלקל את החבית. Because you don't want, he says, what are you talking about? But you're making a vessel. Before it wasn't a vessel, and you're making a vessel now. Yeah?
Why you said before it wasn't a vessel? It was a chavit.
Yeah, but it was a chavit.
סגורה, but it was a chavit.
Can you use it? Can you use it? It wasn't. Now you make
something
it.
that is usable.
ומותר לקלקל אף לכתחילה לצורך אכילה בשבת. And you're allowed to do it even before. But let's say like this: your whiskey barrel on the top of the shelf, you see it starts leaking. Clink, clink, clink. And in 10 minutes it's going to come all down. And you've got a fig barrel over there. You break the fig barrel, you take all the gogorot out, and you want to put it under the whiskey barrel.
That you can do.
Why?
Because you use it as a vessel.
Oh, that's exactly.
You made a vessel now.
You make it. So everything is what? In your intention. You do the same thing. There's no difference. It's what intention.
It's not for a vessel, your intention is for the food.
That's right. That's why he says, continued, ובלבד שלא יתכוון לעשות כלי. Even in the barrel itself, when you're making a barrel, if you're making the hole in such a way that I can see that later on you're intending to use this barrel, it's not a barrel anymore. I mean, it's not food anymore for you. It's not a container for the food. You're doing it for the container itself. So you're going to show me by opening it, how you're opening it, if you want it or not wanting it. Are you going to completely tear it so that you don't care? But if you tear it nicely in such a manner that I can see it, that you're going to use it again, now it's a problem. ובלבד שלא יתכוון לעשות כלי, and as long as he's not going to make a vessel. And how do we know he's making a vessel? לעשות לה נקב יפה, because if you make a nice hole in a convenient place, I know now that you don't want the figs, you also want the container, the barrel.
So in other words, you can't take a drill and you have to take a hammer and break it in a way, because if you're going to take a drill or...
Maybe you're allowed to make a drill, but in a place that it's not convenient, that you wouldn't do it in a regular place. Yeah. So maybe you're even allowed to make a drill, but just put it in a...
To make sure that it's not going to be a vessel. This hole is going to make it not a vessel.
That's right. Or at least not convenient.
Can.
שיש בה משום תיקון כלי, because otherwise if you make a nice hole, you're making a vessel. What are you making? Okay. And this is the debate today, if you're allowed to open a can of soda on Shabbat.
Right. No.
Are you allowed to do it?
You should be able, because you don't use it you don't do it for the vessel, you do it
for the drink, right?
Drink itself.
Most people say that. The question is, did you ever see a person that he drinks half a Coke and then puts it in the refrigerator?
No.
So
I don't.
Most people don't do that, right?
No, because it's lo shaveh.
Yeah, most people don't do that.
No.
Yeah. But let's say, I'll tell you what I've seen many times. In Israel, for sure, people do that. I don't know today, but in my time...
The Coca-Cola?
No, Coca-Cola, it's a different kind of seal that you're allowed to. Over here, you're breaking the vessel.
Oh.
It's a different kind of... If you have... This is a seal. This is... Okay, you're taking off the pkak. That's something else. But, for example, kufsat shimurim. How do you say kufsat shimurim in English?
Food can.
A food can, yeah. Okay. Canned food. A lot of times, for example, you eat half a tuna from the kufsa, and then you will put the kufsa with the half a tuna in the... You put it cellophane paper, and you put it back in the refrigerator.
Now you made a vessel for me.
Oh.
No? Yeah. Because you use it as a plate. Or as a
container. You use it as a container also. Especially if it's a big one.
Okay, but you didn't do it for the container. You did it for the food. Your intention was the food.
Oh, so I think that's the thing over here. Did you open it in such a manner to show that you're not going to use it? In other words, if you made it in such a manner that you open it from the bottom, so it's going to leak, then I know for sure you're not going to put it in the refrigerator. But if you open it in the front, on the top, some people will say, hey, you're also making a vessel, I will not let you do it. So open it in such a manner that you cannot put it in the refrigerator. Then I will let you use it.
Well, how can you do it? You can do it.
I don't know, maybe open it, whatever, but that's the idea, I think.
So, but the idea is, le'alacha is, if you open a can, empty it in a different vessel and throw it.
It doesn't matter.
Why?
Because
you take it and put it. If I open,
it's not what you do.
pickles.
It's not what you do personally in your house. It's what's done with these kinds of vessels. If it's done like this in a lot of houses, you're making a vessel. I don't care that you're not going to use it. You made a vessel and you're not going to use it. But since a lot of people do it, then it's problematic.
So if I open pickles, I eat. I leave them in the box, in the can.
It's a problem.
I eat 5 of them, and I take it, put it back in the refrigerator.
It's a problem. Now
Am I allowed to do this? I made a vessel. I have a vessel for the...
According to what we did, you're not allowed to do such a thing. I tell you, how would you be allowed to do such a thing? Yeah? If you opened it up from the bottom, and you take pickle, out the bottom. You're not going to keep it like this in the refrigerator because all the juice is out of it. But because you open it from the top.
In a different way.
In other words, they want to make sure that you're not making a vessel. In other words, break it. When they say break it, they mean make it not a vessel. Or make it not a convenient vessel.
That's why they say break it.
That's why it says break it. Break it will allow you, but you make a nice hole, that's what they say, we're not going to allow you. Now, there's a question about cans, like you're discussing now, like cans and stuff like this. It's called mustaki in halacha. What's mustaki? Mustaki is, even then, in those times, they used to have them. It's vessels that you throw away. And some says the reason why you're allowed to do cans today, because it's not a real vessel. People throw them away.
Yeah.
So it's called mustaki. There's a debate. If this is mustaki, not mustaki, it's all debate. I know that in my time, people used them all the time as containers. Today, when we were kids, today not so much. Yeah. So maybe halacha changed, I'm not sure.
Okay.
ואין נוקבים מגופה של חבית. You're not allowed to make a hole in מגופה of חבית. He's going to explain. דברי רבי יהודה, this is according to רבי יהודה. נוהגים היו להגיף את פי החבית של יין במגופה. They used to put a seal, like a מגופה, it's called a lid. דהיינו, what does it mean? כיסוי של חרס. In other words, there was a barrel, and they would put a clay, something on top, a clay lid. ולהדביק סביבה זפת או שעבה. And you put around it like a wax or like a ceiling. וכשהיו רוצים ליטול ממנה יין, and when you wanted to take wine from it, היו נוקבים במגופה נקב צר, you would make a small hole in it, ומתאים את החבית, and then you would pour it, and then you would do what? You put the wax again on, to seal it again. ומתאים את החבים, ומוציאים יין דרך אותו נקב, and you would take out wine through that hole, a small hole. וסובר רבי יהודה, שאסור לנקוב את המגופה בשבת. רבי יהודה says, you're not allowed to make a hole in a מגופה on Shabbat. Why? לפי שהוא כמתקן פתח. Because you are making a vessel. That's what you're making, an opening. Yeah. Until now, it wasn't a vessel because there was no opening to it. You made the opening, you finished the vessel. Until now, it wasn't finished, you finished it. So what you're supposed to do? Take the whole top off. Don't make a hole. He says when you take the whole top off, it means you're breaking the vessel.
But I have a problem when you take the whole top off.
What's the problem?
You still have a vessel. You מתקן vessel. Now you have a big bowl that you can put there.
That's not the way you use this vessel. Right? How do you use the vessel on a weekday? These kinds of vessels. With the hole in it. In other words, you're showing that you're not doing it the regular way. In other words, you're showing that you're breaking it and not.
על מנת שזה...
That's it.
Okay.
אלא יסיר את המגופה כולה מהחבית. You have to take the whole lid out. This is according to Rabbi Yehuda. But חכמים מתירים. חכמים says, Rabbi Yehuda, we like that you're very careful, but you don't need to be that careful. חכמים מתירים לנקוב את המגופה. They're allowed to make a hole in the lid. שאין דרך פתח בכך. It says, this is not a regular way to open it. I don't know, we just said this is the way they do it. But he says, maybe when they did it on a regular day, they put a spigot over there or something, and you're just making a hole, you're not making, maybe that's what they're saying. וכן ההלכה. And this is the law that you're allowed to make a small opening. ויש גורסים רבי יוסי מתיר. Those who says רבי יוסי מתיר. So up to now, we discussed making the hole on the top. Now, it says, you should know that we only allow you to make the hole on the top. But we don't allow you to make the hole ever on the side. I don't know. ולא יכוון המצידה, but you should not make a hole on its side. Let's see. כלומר, שלא התירו חכמים, the sages, when they say you're allowed to make a hole, and not take the whole lid. It's only you allowed to make a hole in the top. אלא לנקוב למעלה בראש המגופה. It's only in the top. אבל בצד המגופה, but if you put it in the side of the barrel, אף חכמים מוטים שאסור לנקבה בשבת. Even the sages says that you're not allowed to do in Shabbat. Why? לפי שפעמים נוקבים שם משום פתח לחבית, because that's the usual way to make an opening. You will make a hole in the side and you put a berries. You put something over there. Yeah. You put a faucet over there. It says, since that's the way you usually do it, don't do it. Nobody puts a faucet on the top, but some people put a faucet in the side. Now, why would you rather put a hole in the side than in the top? Because if you put a hole in the top, things are going to fall in. If you put a hole in the side, nothing is going to fall in. So when you put a hole in the top, you're showing that it's not going to be used anymore. When you put a hole in the side, you're not showing it's not going to be used anymore. הואיל, לפי שפעים נוקבים שם משום פתח לחבית, הואיל ואינם רוצים לפתחה למעלה, because they don't want to open it in the top. שלא יפולו צרורות או עפר לתוך היין. You don't want it to get dirty. ואם הייתה נקובה חבית, and if this barrel already had a hole, and what did it used to do with the hole? It used to put wax or tar on it. to plug it. So
Now you can open it?
the question is, this hole, are you allowed to remove?
The hole existed already.
That's right. It's almost like a cockball, right? It has the top. You open it. ואם הייתה נקובה חבית, and if the barrel was already with the hole, just was tarred, לא ייתן עליה שעבה בשבת כדי לסתמה. It says you're not allowed to seal it on Shabbat in order to plug the hole. Why? מפני שהוא ממרח. It says you're not sealing it, it's called smearing, yeah. מחליק את השעבה בדפנות החביב סביב הנקב. Not because you're making a vessel.
אבל also the shava is hot, no? The wax is not hot, it's called wax.
I think you can do it room temperature. Yeah, it's a room temperature wax. It can,
special wax.
Yeah. I think they put something in the wax today to make it harder than room temperature. They mix something in it. Otherwise, pure shava, you can just go like this.
Okay.
Yeah. ויש בזה משום ממחק. And it's called ממחק, שהוא אב מלאכה. That it is called father, it's like smearing, not allowed to. אמר רבי יהודה. Rabbi Yehuda said, המעשה בא לפני רבנן יוחנן בן זכאי בערב. It says, a case came in front of Rabbanan Yochanan ben Zakkai in Arav, Shem Makom, a name of a place, שבא לפניו מעשה שם במי שנתן שעבה על נקב החבית בשבת. Somebody did this, he put wax on a hole on Shabbat. ואמר רבי יוחנן בן זכאי, the question is he only transgressing the Rabbanan or the Oraita? So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, חוששני לא מחטאת. It says, I'm worried that he has transgressed from the Oraita. He needs to bring a sacrifice. חוששני שמא מירח את השעבה להדביקה בדפנות החבית. It says, I'm worried about this. ונמצא חייב בחטאת. And therefore he is obligated from the Torah and he has to bring a sin offering. בעניין המחלוקת של רבי יהודה וחכמים, we have a מחלוקת of רבי יהודה וחכמים, אם מותר לנקוב מגופה של חבית, if you're allowed to make a hole in the top of the barrel. ביארנו כדעת רב הונא בגמרא, we explain it like רב הונא, אבל that רב חיסדא רב חיסדא says that you didn't, that the whole מחלוקת is not in the top, the whole disagreement is in the side. Yeah. שלא נחלקו רבי יהודה וחכמים אלא בסיעת נקב בצד המגופה. It says the only disagreement is on the side שרבי יהודה אוסר, because רבי יהודה prohibits to make, לפי שיש נוקבים שם משום פתח, because some make a hole over there, וחכמים מתירים, חכמים permitted. שלדעתם אין דרך פתח בכך. It says that's not opening. ומה ששנינו ולא יכוון המצידה, and the fact that we said you shouldn't make a hole on its side, היינו בגוף החבית מצידה, it means in the body of the barrel on its side, שבחלקון זה ודאי מתקן פתח הוא. This is for sure is making a hole. ולכן אף חכמים יודעים שאסור שזה בשבת. In other words, the claim is, sometimes you have the clay on the top, but it says even if the clay is on the side, then Chachamim says you're allowed to, and Rabbi Yehuda says even the clay is in the side, you're not allowed to. That's the...
But here